determined to continue with the march and support the people of Gaza. And we're waiting to see whether we could actually. They've even not allowed us to meet, which is interesting. Just the meeting seems to be illegal in this dictatorship. From what I understand, the police have said that they'll use force and disperse us if we don't move. So they're not interested in having us having even the minor meeting. Well, shutting us down is going to make us more. First of all, I don't believe we're being shut down yet. And shutting us down is going to make us more effective, because when we go back, we're going to tell people, and we're going to tell people what's going on, and it's going to make us a lot more determined.
Free, free Gaza! 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 Free, free Gaza!
I'm a former student from New Jersey. I graduated in May from Seton Hall. I've been working with the Gaza Freedom March for about 2 months now. We started in October raising money for school supplies and have now raised $17,000. And the school supplies are all sitting in a warehouse in Giza right now. We've got 700 backpacks, and we're going to stuff them all with jackets and notebooks and all sorts of school supplies.
And today in Al-Arish, they detained, I believe, 30-some members of the Gaza Freedom March.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it just from 2 hours ago they realized that they were in their hotels in Al-Arish, and they were preparing to go to Gaza tomorrow or the day after, whenever they were able to go, when we got there. And the Egyptian police have stopped them in their hotels and made sure that they can't leave their hotels. So for example, two members tried to leave to come back to Cairo, and they were stopped. Their cab was stopped by the police, and they were sent back to their hotel. So they're currently being detained in the hotel in Al-Arish. So given this situation, given the fact the Egyptian government is being pressured by the Israelis and by the United States to stop us, I don't think it's crazy to think that they would try and scare us into leaving right now, or scare us into moving from this place right now.
Are you scared about it?
I'm not scared, no. I'm from Iran. I mean, things are bad there too.
So I think the government has done the stupidest thing ever. You know, we would have been out of here this morning. We would have been happily on our way to Gaza to be with the people there, to get ready for the march. People inside Gaza have been working so hard for that, and some of us have been working for months and months and months and months to pull this thing together. You know, things were going fine. The talks with the ministry are fine. They said jump, we jumped. We gave them all the names, we gave them all the birth dates, we gave them all the information. We started giving them all the hotels, I mean, everything they wanted. And then suddenly they said, no, we reject your proposal to go to Gaza.
So now we'll do a chant in English so everyone feels a little bit more comfortable. And it's to the Egyptians. It's to say, Egypt, Egypt, don't you see? We say Gaza must be free. Egypt, Egypt, don't you see? We say Gaza must be free. Egypt, Egypt, don't you see? We say Gaza must be free.
Yesterday they got the buses. Yesterday they take the buses from us. The buses will go to Gaza, they take it.
I see, really.
And they beat us there. They beat us. They beat the woman. They beat any. Yeah, I swear. They beat anybody. Support Gaza. Yesterday.
what are you doing by the French embassy?
Je viens de Paris. Paris.
Yeah.
On vient de Paris avec le groupe Cap Gepo pour sensibiliser à la situation des gens qui vivent à Gaza. Et hier soir, on nous a promis des cars et ils sont jamais arrivés. Et depuis hier soir, nous sommes là. On a manifesté notre opposition et depuis, on est bloqué. Comme à Gaza, on est prisonnier devant l'ambassade de France.
Gaza now! Gaza now! Gaza now! Gaza now!
People are just following orders from basically the U.S. government and Israel, and they're just like puppets. They get paid for what they do, and then I feel like if these officials, these policemen, if they're not going to follow orders, they can't put food on the table. This is like their main source, so I don't really blame them. I blame their government. So I feel really happy that we're trying to do more of like the activism over here, but I'm very frustrated because we can't do even anything. Everything here is being shut down, taken care of. They try to block everything. They try to block everything. There's no one seeing anything. It's very
discouraging to see.
It's very discouraging. It's very frustrating because like in Berkeley we do protests all the time. I mean, yes, they do try to shut them down, but not this bluntly to the point where you can't even hold the poster up.
Do you ever want to go back to Palestine if it wasn't for Palestine?
I really want to go to Palestine. I really want to go. I can't because I have a dual citizenship. I'm a Palestinian. I have a Palestinian citizenship and an American citizenship. And my passport is Palestinian passport is expired, so I would be stuck there for at least 3 months before leaving. And I
meant when Palestine is eventually free, would you ever move
back?
Oh
man, I'd love to. It would be awesome. I would love to have a free Palestine, like just the state of Palestine back. That would be awesome. I hope that will happen.
I hope it does happen. Thank you.
We're here to come and spread a very important message, and that is that what you see in Israel is not Judaism, it's a distortion of Judaism. Judaism and Zionism are two totally different and opposing concepts. Judaism is an age-old, compassionate, humble way of life. Certainly opposes the idea of a political state for Jews on religious belief grounds and also on grounds of Jewish values of humanitarianism, bearing in mind the fact that the Zionist idea is to form a state and to oppress the indigenous population of Palestine, the Palestinians. Zionism, the hallmark of Zionism is harsh nationalism, aggressiveness, arrogance, a total different concept to Judaism. And we're here to say don't don't confuse Judaism and Zionism, don't blame Judaism for Zionism. We all, everybody, every religious person loves, reveres the idea of the Holy Land. I personally have never been, not because I don't want to go. I'd love to go to the Holy Land. They do not want to observe what I consider to be the obscenity of the Zionist regime there, which has imposed itself in a illegitimate and immoral way on the local population.
Activists around the world, inspired by Hetty Epstein, the 85-year-old Holocaust survivor who initiated a hunger strike in Cairo for the opening of the borders of Gaza to the outside world. We recognize that the Palestinians of Gaza continue to hunger for food, shelter, and most of all, for freedom.
I came here in Cairo on the 27th, and the point is we've been so disorganized. The crackdown on the movement has been so severe that it has been very difficult to find the various groups and the organizations in the various countries.
I see.
So we've been trying to find, and today when I got to know that the hunger strike was on, I decided to sit on behalf of the people of India in solidarity with the people of Palestine and along with the international movement as well. So India is paying for the bullets that the Palestinians are shot dead with. India is buying 50% of Israel's weapons. Israel is today the second biggest supplier of arms to India after Russia. Israel is part of our internal security. They are training our local police, and Israeli Mossad is playing a major role with the intelligence agencies in the country. Heightened security, Islamophobia across South Asia, in India as well. And Israel is playing a very, very dangerous role in India. And now India, for all strategic political purposes, is part of the American-Israeli nexus. It's a major blow for the... It's sad, both the countries that were at the core of the third world movement, of the non-aligned movement. You see what's happening with Egypt. And India is on its way to being reduced to another satellite country. Because basically, I mean, I come from the Mahatma Gandhi movement, and the first international national movement that Gandhiji actually started within the country was on the question of the Khilafat movement, and Palestine was central. So Gandhiji's first international national struggle was on the question of Palestine. All right. So I come from, and more importantly, India was divided on the basis of religion into India and Pakistan. Israel was divided, I mean, created on the basis of religion. So we come with that background that we've seen the kind of damage that the divisions on the basis of religion and ethnicity have caused in the region. And today the point is, I'm not only fighting for Palestine, I'm fighting for the freedom of my country from the clutches of the, or the talons of the Americans and the Israelis.
اجت الحكومة تاعتكم قفلت الشركة السفينة ورجعوا لنا فلوسنا.
هقول لحضرتك على حاجة، هقول لحضرتك حاجة. شعب وانتوا قدمتوا ايه؟ قدمتوا ايه؟ احنا دخلنا حروب كتير، انتوا قدمتوا ايه؟ ايه اللي انتوا قدمتوه؟ هات لي حرب واحدة قدمتها أي بلد عربي في فلسطين.
From London, Ontario, Canada.
You had an interesting exchange with that. She was a reporter from a local daily here in Cairo, and you were disagreeing with her. What was the disagreement about?
Well, first of all, she was saying that it's for our protection that they're not allowing us to enter Gaza, and that's totally false.
She told me that too.
You know, that's totally false. It's not. It's because they have orders, basically. They have orders from Washington and Tel Aviv not to allow us to go in and show the world that there's so many people from all over the world that sympathize and feel with the Palestinians. Because the way she was just protecting the government, and I know how the average, actually almost every Egyptian feels about their government. They hate their government. They can't even speak their mind, and she's protecting the government, and she's saying things that aren't true, because like what I told her, if that's the case, why when we rented boats to go on the Nile and put, you know, a candlelight vigil for the death, the 1,400 that died, they stopped them. Actually, they put this company out of business. What does that have to do with us going to Gaza? Okay, sure.
It's very hard for especially Americans to understand the reality of what military occupation is.
Right.
And in our political atmosphere in America, the atmosphere is conflated with Zionism is what Judaism is.
Right.
It's very difficult for people who have not seen on the ground themselves the apartheid policies, the occupational policies of the Israeli government, not of the Israeli people. And it's hard for anyone who hasn't seen this to put it out of the context that they hear from in the media. And what the media reports is that Israel has a right to exist because of the Jewish people. The reason that there is a state of Israel is because of Jews having been persecuted for hundreds of years, particularly the Holocaust. The reality is that there was a group of people living in Palestine before the British decided to, the British government had agreed with Zionist leaders that Palestine could be a Jewish homeland, or part of Palestine could be a Jewish homeland. The reality of the times is that also, if we're talking about really anti-Semitism, that other countries did not want to accept Jews after the Holocaust, like the America and Europe. They didn't want to accept American refugees before, during, and after the Holocaust. And so Palestine was established as a new place to put Jews. My family hasn't gone so far as to disown me. They recognize that it's my own political views. And I have not tried to convince my family of thinking otherwise, because it is a matter of experience. It is a matter of they have a different experience than I have. I have been in Palestine and I've seen on the ground what occupation means and how it is it is a tool of the government to secure control to resources and of their own, it is a tool that the Israeli government uses to control their own civilian population. It's not a matter of, the talking points that you always hear Israeli politicians. Israel has a right to exist. The Jewish people are persecuted. Anti-Semitism this, anti-Semitism that. It's very important to recognize what's happening on the ground, and the architecture of the occupation is meant to allocate more resources to the Zionist state. We have, during demonstrations, we have some of the youth throwing stones at the soldiers. And the reality is that the soldiers, for one, are so far away, for two, have arms, and then there's the context of an occupation. But the stone throwing happens in the context of there's a military occupation. And what a military occupation means is that every day there's what we call suspended violence. It means that every day Palestinians are subjected to humiliation, dehumanizing, going through checkpoints, having to get a permit to go basically anywhere, being in risk of losing their homes, being in risk of being arrested, having brothers, fathers, sisters, mothers, all in danger of the occupation, not being able to protect your family. And that any sort of demonstrations, anything against the state, is against the military occupation of the land, not against the Jewish people. And it's very important to differentiate that. And I, as a Jew, have worked in the West Bank for 1.5 years, and it has never been a problem that I am Jewish.
Stop! Gaza! Genocide! Stop! Gaza! Genocide!
Woman named Zohar, who's also here, came up with the idea of doing a Sabbath ceremony as part of a protest, and I thought it worked pretty well. It's just a way of showing our Jewishness and claiming that, and at the same time saying we don't agree with the Israeli policy of starving the children of Gaza. The Israeli state betrays Jewish values in many ways, and certainly it's not a part of the Jewish religion to be inflicting starvation on innocent children in Gaza. That has nothing to do with Judaism. I believe that many Jews are are substituting loyalty to Israel for their basic Jewish values. Yes, it's very unfortunate because the two are pulling in opposite directions.
Right.
What the Israeli state is doing, the level of cruelty, the level of brutality inflicted on children especially, that's the opposite of what Judaism teaches. We teach compassion for all people, especially for children.
I went to my Friday prayer at the Al-Azhar Mosque in Cairo.
Yeah.
Part of the French delegation had gone and talked to the imam there, and they had a huge rally for us inside the mosque because the people of Egypt they've been trying to silence the people about what we've been doing in Cairo the last week, and the whole population's been wondering what we've been doing. But now people congregate the most at Friday prayer, and now they know. Oh, I cried because I saw a lot of people in Egypt support our cause.
Are you Palestinian yourself?
Yes, I am.
So we had a number of meetings and we discussed, what are we going to do? We have to do something, what shall it be? So what came out of all these meetings, which went on in different places, I was involved in a number of them, so that's why I can tell you about it. Anyway, what came out of it is we decided, okay, they won't let us get on the buses, they won't let us take taxis, they won't let us go to the Rafah crossing. We will walk there in mass, and we will start in the middle of Cairo, in Tahrir Square, which is like a huge square. There are 4 lanes of traffic this way, 4 lanes of traffic that way, and so we planned out how are we going to do this. And we came up with a plan, how we would form as a flash demonstration. All of us went in 2s and 3s and 4s, just like tourists, hanging out near the square, just waiting, just hanging around, oh, here, and there's police here, there's police there, police there. And you wonder, what is going to happen here? And amazingly, it went off. We were there, and all of a sudden, the women's contingent showed up in the middle of the traffic. Bing, right there, just, bang, with flags like this. And everybody came from here, from there, running to get to them. And we all gathered, like 300 or 400 of us. And then there were people on the side, too, who supported. We gathered, we formed up, and we started walking towards Gaza.
Attention, madame.
Ora lasciamola stare che lei è amica di Fiorella.
No, una persona basta così. Basta così. Cioè,
Accompagnala non ce l'ha il setto nasale rosso.
No, però sei spaventata, non
There was a girl the police had pushed on the ground and were getting physical with. It looked like she was going to get trampled. So I went to try to cover her up and pick her up. 2 cars were pulling me and kicking me. And another older police officer without the right gear smacked me with the butt of his walkie-talkie. And
this when you said Viva Viva
yeah, and then I had a peace sign the whole time. I had my hands up. And there's a huge gas.
Just when you say Viva Viva Palestine, smash his face.
As soon as I went to pick her up, I said Viva Palestine. Sorry.